Hi, welcome to This Week in Ames. I'm Susan Guiazda. On today's show, we check in and learn a little bit more about transportation in Ames. My guest today is Melissa Munt, Assistant City Manager with the City of Ames. Melissa, welcome to the show.
Hey, Susan, thanks for having me again.
It's always great to have you, and you always have so many projects on your plate. And today's project is transportation. You're very involved in some proposed improvements and an action plan involving HIRTA. Can you talk to me a little bit about what this plan's about?
Yeah, absolutely. So the city has a couple of different transportation options that are public transportation options. First being CyRide, which is considered a fixed route service. And the folks at CyRide also help fund a program called Dial-A-Ride, as most of us around here know it. And that's really the Americans with Disabilities Act kind of parallel, I guess, to the fixed route service that CyRide provides.
So if you want to get on CyRide, you can go on our website or get one of those maps, and, and it follows that map and nowhere else.
Yes, exactly. Where the other service that is provided in the community is provided by a group called HIRTA. You'll see the buses around town. They're white and they've kind of got blue bubbles on them, and they say HIRTA, which is stands for the Heart of Iowa Regional Transit Authority. And we actually contract with them through two different ways. First, we contract with them with the CyRide board. They contract with them for services for individuals who have disabilities and need assistance that the traditional fixed route services wouldn't work for. And then, of course, we also contract with them through Asset, which is our funding mechanism with our local option sales tax. And we contract for, basically, it's called a demand response service, which essentially means you can schedule the day before for them to take you somewhere. And they will stop at your curb and pick you up and take you to where you're needing to go and drop you off.
So explain how that is different than, say, a taxi service.
They're actually quite similar, other than you can call the taxi generally the same day and schedule a ride then. So it's a little bit different in that it's maybe a little less flexible in their scheduling, but the difference is a taxi is generally a car, maybe a minivan, without necessarily the assistance for someone who maybe needs a little help getting in and out of the vehicle, either if they have a wheelchair or whatnot, where HIRTA makes sure that it is able to provide those services for those who are disabled, perhaps elderly and having a little more difficulty getting around, or even for children who need to be taken to things that are not on the CyRide route.
So a HIRTA bus, as you explained, is it's not a car. It's typically a small bus.
Yep, or a minivan sometimes, yeah.
And it's handicapped accessible.
Generally speaking, yes.
Okay.
Yes.
So that differentiates it a little bit from, say, a private taxi service.
Right, and it also is considered a public transportation service like CyRide. It's just that it's not, again, on the fixed route. And the thing that we're trying to learn about with HIRTA is we've had some concerns from the community about service, and we're trying to get a better understanding of what that really entails. And the CyRide board kind of kicked off the process, and then Story County, United Way, the GSB, and then of course ourselves, the City of Ames, decided that, yeah, that was a great idea, that we needed to do a review of the service and understand what needs aren't being met or what needs are being met, but maybe with some challenges in the community.
So a demand response system like we have through HIRTA. HIRTA serves multiple counties, not just Story County.
Yes, correct. My understanding is they serve around 9 counties surrounding Polk County, so Story County being one of those.
And so this is just another level of service to citizens who are not necessarily able to wait at a CyRide stop or have a demand that is not on the route.
Right. A lot of folks, I think, in the community, you'll see using it to get to medical appointments or things of that nature, just because of the fact that it is a much more proximity to where they live, so that they don't have to walk as far if they maybe are sick or whatever's going on. So it's a much better service for folks with needs that are unique that riding a fixed route wouldn't maybe work so well for. But the fact of the matter is because HIRTA is here, not only for the disabilities component of it, but they're also here as just a regular transit service. So anyone can ride HIRTA in the community. You don't have to have a disability, and you don't have to have a special need of any sort to be able to ride it. There's just a fee, and it's different than how CyRide gets you there.
So when HIRTA establishes fees, are they set fees or are they based on where you're going?
They're set within the city of Ames. So if you're a city of Ames resident and you're using HIRTA, they're set within the city of Ames, and they're each way, so you get charged each way. And then if you're going outside of the city of Ames in Story County, there's a different fee for that. And the same is true if you live out in the county and you're coming into Ames, there's a different fee structure for that. Fees are also varied, and that's one of the confusions that we found, because CyRide once upon a time did its dial-a-ride service, and those folks were only the folks who qualified under the Americans with Disabilities Act. Now, with HIRTA being here, they provide not only that service, but they also provide the anyone can ride service, but you have to, of course, schedule in advance for the ride. So that's created a bit of a confusion, because folks under certain federal waivers don't pay the same amount as the standard HIRTA fee. So you'll see people, when you ride a HIRTA bus, very different than CyRide, sometimes paying a different amount than you would pay as a rider who doesn't maybe meet one of those federal program thresholds.
So it's really kind of a nuanced system with a lot of different offerings. And like any service that we have in the city, we always look for ways to improve it. One of the things that you've been involved in is basically looking at ways to improve service, to identify potential challenges, and to work towards solutions. There is information about a draft plan on our website. And what do you hope people, what do you want them to do when they read the plan?
Right. So what we've done is we've contracted with a facilitator, and this individual has been working through with the agencies. There's a lot of agencies that use HIRTA to get their clients to and from their services and back to their homes or wherever they are going next. And so we're trying to work with those folks, understand their needs. So we've done that with a facilitator. We've also brought in HIRTA and RSVP, which is another organization that provides rides in the community under kind of a similar premise as HIRTA, and talk to them about what their needs are, what concerns they have, challenges they're facing. We brought them together again. We've talked together about that, and we've come up with a list of core areas where we think we can work on some things. And the first one is our partnerships within the community, kind of getting a better understanding of what's available. And then the next area would be our infrastructure. So our buses, sort of how we interact with each other on a technology level, things of that nature, from the transportation by riders to the agencies, but also to the clients that use HIRTA or RSVP. And then the last component that we're really trying to focus on is some internal modifications with HIRTA to be able to help them do their services better. So what we're looking for, the last component, the very critical component, is outside of the agencies and the transportation provider HIRTA itself, we'd like to hear from folks who ride the service, hear what challenges they've had, what they need from the provider, and how we as the city or the county or the United Way could help facilitate a better partnership for everyone.
Sure, obviously stakeholder comment is helpful to improving the service. Also, maybe why people aren't riding the service. Why aren't you a user?
Absolutely.
If you had ever considered taking public transit but the fixed route didn't work, and perhaps you had mobility issues or needed to go somewhere that's not on the route, maybe it would be a good opportunity to take a look at that draft plan and provide some commentary.
Yeah, and I think it's really critical. We use some really specific language in the plan talking about demand response. What that simply means is you call and you schedule ahead, unlike CyRide. So that's why we're making that clarifier. So when you do look at the plan, understand that difference, that nuance with that. The terminology just means simply you call ahead, you make a demand, and they respond. And so that's the critical part. But look through it. And beyond that, if there's nothing on there that you really want to comment on, we'll take comments in general about HIRTA's service and or any similar non-fixed route service you've used in Ames to help us get a better understanding of how to meet the needs in the community better.
Yeah, that plan is available on our website at cityofames.org. Look up in the upper right-hand corner in the spotlight. You'll see a link to that plan, as well as you can go to cityofames.org/transit plan. We'll get you there as well. It's not a real large document. It's less than 15 pages. Also, we have them available hard copy at City Hall.
Yeah, absolutely, we sure do. And just a reminder that for folks who maybe want to come give their information in person, we will host a public input session, which will have folks to take your comments. That's what those are for. We'll be sitting down in the City Council chambers on January 17th. That's a Saturday morning from 8:30 in the morning till 10:30 in the morning. Just watch for weather. We just had to cancel our last one because of the weather yesterday, so hopefully when we host this next one on January 17th in the morning, it'll be good weather, and we'd like anyone that has input that doesn't want to submit via email to come attend.
Well, and that's actually a good reminder that the deadline to provide your input either by phone or by email has been extended as well to 10:30 a.m. on Saturday, January 17th. Everything will wrap up at the end of that meeting, as well as taking the input. There is an email address with that link.
Yes, absolutely. The email address, just to remind everyone, is HIRTA@city.ames.ie.us.
So another good way to share your thoughts.
Thank you, Susan.
Well, Melissa, thanks for being on the show. I'm sure this will be of interest to a lot of our residents, maybe who weren't aware of the services or who want to take a look at that plan. Again, that is on the front of our website at cityofames.org/transit plan, or just look for the In the Spotlight. And speaking of our website, if you've ever thought there might be ways to improve our City of Ames website, there's now a survey on the front of our website that lets you share your thoughts. We're going to look at a website redesign in the next few months, and we want to hear from you. Tell us what you like, what you'd like to see changed, and how we can improve. Well, that's our show for today. Thanks for watching, and tune in next week for This Week in Ames.